Welcome to Limitless Mind. Today's topic is the purpose of a relationship. Have you ever wondered why some relationships lift you up while others seem to drain every ounce of energy from your life? Have you ever felt frustrated, hurt, or even confused by someone you care about, wondering why the connection doesn't feel easy or effortless? What if I told you that the answer isn't in them, but in what the relationship is trying to teach you about yourself? Every person you meet, every bond you form is a mirror. It reflects your strengths, your fears, your patterns, and your potential. Every interaction, every conflict, and every moment of intimacy is not just about the other person. It is about discovering who you truly are, who you are becoming, and what you are capable of achieving when you embrace growth, contribution, and empowerment. The truth is, relationships are not here to make life comfortable. They are here to challenge you, to stretch you, and to awaken the best version of yourself. If you are willing to see the hidden lessons, to step into discomfort, and to use connection as a catalyst for growth, then everything about your relationships, your friendships, your family, your partnerships can transform your life forever. Now, the first point is relationships as mirrors. Relationships are far more than shared experiences, comfort, or companionship. They are mirrors reflecting the deepest parts of ourselves, revealing who we truly are beyond the surface. Every person we allow into our lives, whether a partner, friend, family member, or colleague, offers a reflection of our inner world, showing our strengths, vulnerabilities, beliefs, and unhealed patterns. These connections act as a lens through which we can observe our behavior, emotional responses, and unconscious tendencies, highlighting areas that require growth, understanding, or self-awareness. The people around us are not just companions or sources of pleasure. They are teachers, guides, and mirrors that show us both what we embody and what we resist, encouraging us to explore the full spectrum of who we are. When we experience strong emotional reactions, anger, frustration, disappointment, or even joy, they are rarely about the other person alone. These responses are reflections of our internal state, pointing to unresolved wounds, limiting beliefs, or unexamined fears. When someone's words or actions trigger us, it is an opportunity to pause and look inward rather than outward, to question why we feel the way we do, and to identify the parts of ourselves that are influencing our reactions. Relationships expose the patterns we repeat unconsciously, the insecurities we carry, and the ways we project our needs onto others, giving us a chance to recognize and transform them. This reflective quality of relationships can be uncomfortable because it forces us to confront truths about ourselves that we might prefer to ignore, but it is precisely this discomfort that sparks growth, self-awareness, and emotional maturity. At the same time, relationships highlight our positive qualities, showing us the empathy, compassion, resilience, courage, and generosity we bring into our interactions. Every compliment, gesture of kindness, or expression of love we receive acts as a mirror reflecting the value and impact of our presence in others' lives. Recognizing these reflections strengthens our confidence, nurtures self-esteem, and deepens our understanding of what we contribute to the world. Viewing relationships as mirrors shifts the focus from seeking validation or completion from others to using connections as tools for self-discovery, alignment, and personal growth. We begin to see every interaction as a learning opportunity, a chance to identify where we are thriving, where we are challenged, and where we have room to evolve. This perspective transforms the very nature of relationships. They no longer become sources of dependency, fear, or frustration, but instead act as catalysts for transformation, insight, and empowerment. We start taking responsibility for our emotions, responses, and behaviors, understanding that what we see in others often reflects what exists within ourselves. We develop patience, compassion, and empathy, not only for others, but for ourselves, recognizing that every relationship is a mutual reflection of growth, struggle, and human imperfection. By embracing relationships as mirrors, we stop blaming, judging, or resisting, and instead approach our connections with curiosity, openness, and the desire to learn. When we fully internalize this, relationships become powerful vehicles for conscious living. They teach us about our values, our desires, and our capacity for love, understanding, and connection. They illuminate the areas where we are aligned with our highest self and the parts of us that need attention, healing, or realignment. They challenge us to confront fear, insecurity, and ego, while simultaneously celebrating our courage, resilience, and compassion. Every interaction, every moment of conflict or connection becomes a message from life, guiding us towards self-awareness, personal mastery, and authentic engagement. Understanding relationships as mirrors allows us to release the need for external validation, step into deeper awareness, and cultivate connections that uplift, inspire, and empower. By embracing the mirror-like nature of relationships, we turn every connection into an opportunity for reflection, learning, growth, and transformation, shaping us into the most conscious, empowered, and fulfilled version of ourselves. The second point is growth over comfort. The true purpose of a relationship is rarely about comfort, ease, or simply feeling good in someone's presence. It is about growth, transformation, and the relentless pursuit of becoming the best version of ourselves. While it is natural to seek relationships that bring happiness and companionship, those that only provide comfort without challenge often leave us stagnant, unaware, and limited in our potential. Growth in a relationship means being pushed beyond our emotional boundaries, being asked to confront fears we would rather ignore, and being encouraged to step into uncomfortable truths about ourselves. Every meaningful connection has moments that test patience, resilience, and emotional intelligence, revealing aspects of our character that can only emerge under pressure. These challenges, though sometimes difficult, are not obstacles. They are opportunities, invitations from life to expand our consciousness, deepen our self-understanding, and elevate the way we love and interact with others. When we prioritize growth over comfort, we embrace the idea that relationships are laboratories for transformation. They reveal where we have settled, where we have compromised our values, and where we have avoided necessary self-reflection. In moments of tension or disagreement, we are given the chance to examine our triggers, question our assumptions, and identify patterns that no longer serve us. These are not moments to withdraw or seek escape, but to lean in, to learn, and to evolve. Growth-oriented relationships demand courage because they ask us to face the parts of ourselves that feel inadequate, fearful, or resistant to change. They challenge us to communicate honestly, set boundaries clearly, and take responsibility for our emotions rather than projecting them onto the other person. By confronting discomfort directly, we develop resilience, strengthen our emotional muscles, and cultivate a deeper sense of self-respect and authenticity. Growth over comfort also means recognizing that relationships are not about completing us, but about elevating us. They are opportunities to expand our awareness, enhance our emotional intelligence, and become more conscious in how we love, serve, and interact. In these relationships, both parties are committed not merely to pleasure or companionship, but to mutual transformation. They encourage each other to pursue personal goals, challenge limiting beliefs, and reach levels of self-mastery that might be impossible in isolation. These connections celebrate progress, not perfection, and understand that discomfort, conflict, and challenge are essential ingredients for genuine growth. By prioritizing evolution over ease, we stop fearing difficult conversations, emotional vulnerability, or the exposure of our weaknesses, and we instead view them as necessary catalysts for expansion, insight, and deeper connection. Furthermore, relationships that prioritize growth over comfort teach us the art of adaptability and perspective. They remind us that life is dynamic, that emotions shift, circumstances change, and people evolve. To remain in a relationship without growth is to remain static in a world that demands flexibility, learning, and constant expansion. When we embrace the growth principle, we develop patience, empathy, and a greater capacity for forgiveness, understanding that discomfort is temporary, but transformation is lasting. These relationships encourage self-reflection, holding a mirror to our choices, actions, and beliefs, and inspiring us to refine and elevate ourselves in ways we may not have considered alone. The pursuit of growth over comfort also impacts how we perceive success and fulfillment in relationships. It shifts our focus from avoiding conflict to embracing challenges as opportunities for learning. It transforms moments of tension into gateways for insight and emotional evolution, and it fosters a mindset that values depth, authenticity, and courage above superficial pleasure or temporary ease. By committing to growth over comfort, we choose relationships that stretch us, inspire us, and propel us forward on our journey towards self-actualization. These relationships do not promise that life will be easy or that we will always feel comfortable, but they guarantee that we will be challenged, awakened, and elevated in ways that cultivate resilience, self-awareness, and enduring fulfillment. Growth-oriented relationships encourage us to become conscious architects of our own emotional evolution, teaching us that true connection is not about avoiding difficulty, but about leaning into it. With awareness, courage, and love, when we fully embrace the principle of growth over comfort, we begin to see every relationship as a sacred space for transformation, learning, and expansion. We stop prioritizing ease over authenticity, and we start seeking connections that inspire us to be braver, wiser, and more emotionally mature. By valuing growth above comfort, we turn every challenge, disagreement, or difficult moment into an opportunity to evolve, strengthen our character, and deepen our capacity to love ourselves and others more fully, ultimately shaping relationships that are powerful, meaningful, and transformative. The third point is mutual contribution. A healthy and fulfilling relationship is built on the principle of mutual contribution, where both individuals actively give, support, and elevate one another rather than relying solely on the other for happiness or validation. This concept challenges the common misconception that relationships are about one person completing the other or serving as a source of constant fulfillment. True connection requires conscious effort, intentionality, and a willingness to invest not just emotionally, but mentally, spiritually, and sometimes even physically in the growth and well-being of the other person. Mutual contribution is not a transactional exchange where effort is measured by what we receive, but a dynamic, continuous flow of giving and receiving, where both parties recognize the impact they have on each other's lives and commit to creating value, joy, and growth together. Every interaction, gesture, or act of support becomes an opportunity to strengthen the bond and to contribute positively to the other's journey, building trust, respect, and deep emotional connection over time. Mutual contribution requires self-awareness and clarity about what we bring into a relationship. It is not enough to show up physically or superficially. True contribution comes from aligning our intentions, actions, and energy with the growth, happiness, and fulfillment of the other person. This means listening actively, understanding deeply, and responding thoughtfully rather than reacting impulsively or expecting the other to adapt to our needs alone. It requires acknowledging our own strengths and weaknesses and taking responsibility for the ways in which we impact the other person, recognizing that every word, action, and choice has the potential to uplift or diminish the relationship. When both people in a relationship embrace this mindset, they create a powerful dynamic where support, empathy, and encouragement flow naturally, and both individuals are empowered to pursue their goals, dreams, and personal evolution. In relationships where mutual contribution is practiced, there is an unspoken balance between giving and receiving, where each person feels valued, seen, and appreciated. This balance is not about keeping score or ensuring equality in every action, but about cultivating a shared commitment to enhancing the life of the other. Every effort, whether small or significant, becomes meaningful because it stems from genuine care and the desire to contribute positively to the partnership. This principle fosters emotional safety, as both people feel confident in expressing themselves, taking risks, and being vulnerable, knowing that the other will respond with support, understanding, and encouragement. It also cultivates accountability, as both individuals are aware that their actions directly influence the quality of the connection and the emotional well-being of the other person, motivating them to show up with integrity, empathy, and intention. Mutual contribution also serves as a foundation for growth and evolution within a relationship. When both individuals are committed to adding value to each other's lives, they create an environment where learning, development, and transformation are possible. Challenges, disagreements, and obstacles become opportunities to strengthen the connection rather than weaken it, because both parties are invested in finding solutions, supporting each other, and maintaining the health of the bond. This mindset shifts relationships from dependency to empowerment, as each person becomes a source of inspiration, motivation, and encouragement for the other, fostering resilience, confidence, and personal development. The energy invested in contributing to the relationship flows both ways, creating a cycle of positivity, growth, and mutual enrichment that enhances the lives of both individuals. Understanding mutual contribution fundamentally changes the way we approach connection. It reminds us that relationships are not passive experiences, but active, co-created journeys where both people play a vital role in shaping the emotional, mental, and spiritual atmosphere of the partnership. It encourages us to step beyond selfish motives, egos, or expectations, and to engage with the intention of enhancing the other person's life, knowing that in doing so, we elevate ourselves as well. Mutual contribution is not limited to grand gestures. It is found in consistent acts of attention, empathy, encouragement, and accountability, in showing up fully and consciously in both ordinary and extraordinary moments. By embracing this principle, relationships transform into powerful spaces of coevolution, where both individuals are continuously inspired to grow, thrive, and bring out the best in each other, creating bonds that are resilient, meaningful, and profoundly fulfilling. The fourth point is purpose beyond romance. The purpose of a relationship goes far beyond romance or physical attraction, and true fulfillment comes from understanding that meaningful connections serve as platforms for growth, learning, and shared experience. While romantic relationships often capture attention because of their intensity and intimacy, the deeper purpose of connection is not limited to love or companionship, friendships, family bonds. Professional partnerships and mentorships all hold immense power to shape who we are and who we can become. Every relationship we engage in is an opportunity to expand our understanding of ourselves, the world, and the dynamics of human connection, teaching lessons that no solitary experience can provide. When we approach relationships with this mindset, we begin to recognize that their value is measured not by fleeting emotions or immediate pleasure, but by the long-term impact they have on our personal evolution and the positive influence they allow us to have on others. Relationships beyond romance challenge us to see the richness in diversity, to embrace differences in perspective, and to develop empathy for experiences that are not our own. They show us how to give without expectation, how to support without control, and how to create impact in ways that uplift and inspire. Friendships teach us loyalty, patience, and unconditional support. Family connections often confront us with patterns, beliefs, and dynamics that require understanding and forgiveness. Professional partnerships push us to communicate effectively, lead with integrity, and navigate challenges collaboratively. Each of these connections serves as a mirror, reflecting both our strengths and our areas for growth and offering opportunities to evolve emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. When we expand our view of relationships beyond romance, we recognize that every meaningful interaction is a chance to contribute, learn, and cultivate character, resilience, and wisdom. The purpose beyond romance also involves recognizing the shared responsibility of building something greater than ourselves. In friendships, professional networks, and family bonds, the connection is strengthened not merely by emotion, but by intentionality, effort, and the desire to create mutual value. Each person in the relationship plays a role in shaping the environment of growth, trust, and support, and the highest purpose is realized when both individuals are committed to the well-being and advancement of the other. These relationships allow us to practice qualities such as patience, active listening, accountability, and empathy, teaching us how to navigate complexity, celebrate success, and endure challenges with grace. When approached consciously, every non-romantic relationship becomes a training ground for leadership, emotional intelligence, and character development, preparing us to engage more fully in all areas of life, including romantic partnerships. By embracing the idea that relationships extend beyond romance, we also free ourselves from limiting beliefs about love, attachment, and fulfillment. We stop relying solely on romantic connection for validation, purpose, or happiness, and instead recognize that every relationship has its own unique purpose, offering distinct lessons and opportunities for growth. Friendships may teach us joy, support, and loyalty. Family connections may challenge us to forgive, adapt, and understand generational patterns. Professional or mentorship relationships may guide us toward discipline, vision, and personal mastery. When we understand that the true purpose of a relationship is to expand our awareness, strengthen our character, and elevate both ourselves and others, we begin to see every connection as a valuable gift, a platform for impact, and a doorway to transformation. Moreover, relationships beyond romance remind us that the most profound bonds are not always defined by intensity or passion, but by depth, consistency, and mutual investment in growth. These connections allow us to explore the fullness of our humanity, to experience both giving and receiving in authentic ways, and to cultivate the skills necessary to engage meaningfully with the world around us. They teach us resilience in the face of challenges, humility in moments of success, and the power of conscious choice in building trust and influence. When we view relationships through this lens, we recognize that love, connection, and support are not confined to romantic settings. They are available in every interaction, every collaboration, and every bond we nurture with attention, intention, and care. By seeing the purpose beyond romance, we elevate our approach to every connection, creating opportunities for personal growth, shared impact, and lifelong fulfillment. And we cultivate relationships that are not just temporary experiences, but enduring sources of learning, inspiration, and empowerment. And the final point is empowerment through connection. The highest purpose of a relationship is empowerment, the ability to inspire, challenge, and elevate each other into the fullest expression of who we are. A connection that empowers does not simply provide comfort, validation, or fleeting happiness. It pushes us to grow, to stretch beyond our perceived limitations, and to embrace our potential in ways that might otherwise remain dormant. Empowerment through connection begins with recognizing that a relationship is a space where both individuals can thrive, where each person's strengths are nurtured, and where each challenge is met with support, guidance, and encouragement. In these relationships, we are seen not just for who we are in the moment, but for who we are capable of becoming, and we are given the freedom and responsibility to rise to that vision. This type of empowerment transforms a connection from a source of dependency into a partnership of inspiration, growth, and mutual influence, where both individuals contribute to the expansion of the other's capabilities, confidence, and self-belief. Relationships that empower challenge us to step outside of comfort zones, to confront fear, and to embrace change with courage and intentionality. They teach us that true support is not about shielding someone from difficulty or protecting them from discomfort, but about providing encouragement, guidance, and perspective so they can navigate challenges and emerge stronger, wiser, and more resilient. In an empowering connection, criticism becomes constructive feedback, disagreements become opportunities for growth, and moments of vulnerability are met with understanding, respect, and affirmation. We are encouraged to pursue our passions, develop our strengths, and confront our weaknesses, knowing that the connection we have provides a safe foundation for exploration, learning, and transformation. This empowerment is not limited to achievement or success. It extends to emotional, mental, and spiritual growth, allowing us to cultivate resilience, self-awareness, and the courage to act in alignment with our highest purpose. Mutual empowerment within a relationship fosters a sense of shared responsibility for growth and well-being. Each person actively contributes to creating an environment where the other feels confident, capable, and inspired to reach higher levels of personal mastery. This requires conscious effort, communication, and intentionality, as empowerment cannot thrive in isolation or through passive connection. Both individuals must commit to recognizing and nurturing the potential within each other, celebrating progress, offering encouragement during setbacks, and holding each other accountable to their highest standards. Through this dynamic, the relationship itself becomes a catalyst for transformation, pushing each individual to evolve, expand, and embody their fullest potential. Empowering relationships teach us that success, fulfillment, and happiness are not achieved in solitude, but are amplified when we are connected to people who believe in us, challenge us, and help us step into the best version of ourselves. Empowerment through connection also emphasizes the importance of authenticity, integrity, and mutual respect. It reminds us that real growth cannot occur in relationships rooted in manipulation, control, or superficiality. True empowerment arises when both individuals are free to express themselves fully, to pursue their purpose boldly, and to explore life's opportunities without fear of judgment or limitation. It teaches us that vulnerability is strength, that asking G for support is not weakness, and that offering guidance and encouragement is a profound way of contributing to someone else's evolution. In this sense, relationships become laboratories for cultivating courage, confidence, and emotional intelligence, where each person's development fuels the others and the bond itself grows stronger as a result. When we fully embrace the idea of empowerment through connection, we start to see relationships as vehicles for personal transformation, leadership, and legacy. They are not merely sources of companionship or pleasure, but catalysts for expanding our capacity, resilience, and influence. We begin to intentionally seek and nurture connections that inspire us to push boundaries, achieve goals, and evolve into more conscious, purposeful, and impactful human beings. In doing so, we cultivate relationships that are not only meaningful, but transformative, where love, respect, and support converge to elevate both individuals and create a ripple effect of growth, inspiration, and empowerment that extends far beyond the immediate connection, shaping lives, communities, and even the world around us. In the end, the true purpose of any relationship is not comfort, validation, or fleeting happiness. It is growth, self-discovery, empowerment. Every connection you cultivate is a mirror reflecting who you are, a platform challenging you to rise above your fears, and an opportunity to contribute, inspire, and elevate both yourself and the other. Our person. Relationships are not meant to complete you. They are meant to expand you, to push you to become the person you were always capable of being, and to teach you the lessons that only connection can reveal. When you embrace this truth, you begin to see every friendship, every family bond, every professional partnership, and every romantic connection as a chance to learn, to grow, and to make an impact that goes far beyond yourself. So today, I challenge you to step into your relationships with intentionality and courage. Look for the reflections they hold, lean into the discomfort, and seek growth over comfort. Contribute consciously, empower wholeheartedly, and never settle for connection that diminishes your potential. Make it your mission to nurture relationships that mirror your highest self, challenge you to evolve, and inspire you to rise. Commit to being the person who lifts others while allowing yourself to be lifted, the person who gives boldly, listens deeply, and grows continuously. Your relationships are the catalysts for the life you were meant to live. Choose to make every connection meaningful, transformative, and extraordinary.